Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed has been highlighting details of the revised 2020 budget. The 10.52 billion budget was approved by the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday at a virtual meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Adeshwa Odushoga has details in this report.
It's the first time the members of the Federal Executive Council will be meeting after the lockdown imposed on the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Observing the social distancing directive of the World Health Organization, the meeting was presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari via teleconferencing. Briefing newsmen at the end of the FEC meeting, the Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, announced the review of the 2020 budget of 10.52 trillion naira against the 10.59 trillion naira approved earlier.
The Council has approved our recommendation, and the approval has these key parameters. The crude oil price is approved at $25 per barrel. Crude oil production is approved at 1.94 million barrels per day, and then an exchange rate of 360 naira to $1. The revised budget is now in the total sum of 10.523 trillion, a difference of just about 71.5 billion when compared to the approved budget. This is because as we cut down the size of the budget, we also had to bring in new expenditure that were previously not budgeted to enable us adequately respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The federal government from this budget will have a direct revenue for funding the budget of 5.158 billion. The deficit to this budget is 5.365 trillion naira, and this will be financed by both domestic as well as foreign borrowing. The foreign borrowing we're doing for 2020 are all concessionary loans from the IMF, which has already progressed and has approved and has crystallized.
On his part, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, told newsmen that the Council approved a sum of 683 million naira to acquire new vehicles for Nigeria Port Authority.
The Council kindly approved a memo for the award of contract to Globe Motors Holding Nigeria Limited in the sum of 683,613,000 naira for the purchase of about 19 vehicles for MPA.
The Council also approved a sum of 47 billion naira for the provision of additional 40 megawatts of electricity to the national grid, as well as a $1.2 billion to finance mechanization of agriculture in the country.
Memorandum to the FEC is to seek approval from the Executive Council for the revised estimated total cost for the augmentation of the substituting contract in the sum of 47 billion, 235 billion, 303,821 naira 90 kobo in favor of the original contract to Ms. SS Nigeria Limited to provide additional critical power grid infrastructure for the full evacuation, delivered and utilization of 40 megawatts currently being generated from Kashimbila via Takum, Wukari, and then Yandev.
We presented a joint memo with the Federal Ministry of Finance in which we seek the approval of a loan facility of about 950 million euro, translated probably around $1.2 billion. This loan is for the purposes of agricultural mechanization in this country that will cover about 632 local governments plus 140 processing plants. This is going to be a major revolution in the agricultural sector that we have never seen before.
The virtual meeting, first of its kind in the history of the Federal Executive Council, involved Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, and some of the cabinet ministers participating in the virtual meeting. A minute silence was observed in the honor of Abba Kyari, the late former Chief of Staff, while the Secretary General of the Federation formally announced Ibrahim Gambari as the new Chief of Staff to the President. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV360, Abuja.